Wait, 1 sec. Recording. Okay. Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Alonso, your host, your coach, your friend. Tonight, I have a very special expert talk again, my good friend, Angel Tuccy, aka the Queen and the expert by excellence of anything media related, how to get into the, getting interviewed by radios, TVs, as well as leveraging the tremendous powers of press releases. It's not the first time that Angel has been with us. She was kind enough to do talks for the past few classes. And among all of the experts I've had so far, the honor of inviting on my program, all have been outstanding. I was just telling her she's one of the most popular, and that's why she's back again tonight. So without any further ado, welcome back again, Angel.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I mean, what an honor to be invited back as a three-peat, right? This is the third time I've been invited to share to your group. So I'm grateful and I'm super honored to be here today.
Absolutely, pleasure's all mine. And each time you come, you just blew my mind, and I was mine with your knowledge, just spitting fire and absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, and those of you guys are going to be watching this either live or recorded, you're going to be in for a treat, because if you implement even 1% of what she's going to say, that's going to really put your podcast, your business on the map. And I do really mean it. So I'm excited. Let's get going.
Let's get going. I was pulling this up to see if I could see you live and share to my group. Oh, look at that. I think I can. Look Beautiful. At that. Look at us using technology and it being our friend. So hi everybody. I'm Angel Tuccy. They call me a media matchmaker. And that just means I get to have the best job in the world. You guys are looking for more exposure, more visibility, more eyeballs, more credibility, more influence. And I help get to match you up with the right platforms, the right media outlets, the right stages, the journalists that will help share that story out with the world. And we do that by leveraging the power of media interviews and press releases, which is exactly the lane that you guys are in. You are media for somebody else. And so we're going to cross promote, right? How do you get to be a guest on other people's platforms, and how do you build your platform up and make it really juicy and exciting for guests to want to be on? I have a fairly extensive background in media and PR. I was a radio talk show host for 10 years out of Denver, Colorado. I hosted a positive business talk show. We were nationally syndicated coast to coast, award-winning. It was pretty exciting. It was a really fun opportunity for me, especially because I almost didn't graduate high school because I had such a fear of public speaking, such a fear of speaking in front of any audience. And one of our lessons in high school, I remember our class going into our local radio station booth in our high school, and all we had to do was read from a piece of paper into this microphone. And I was too nervous. I could barely get any volume out. I was so shy. I stage fright, introvert, shy, like all the things that would stack against you for wanting to be in any public stage. And my high school teacher, thank goodness, he took pity on me and gave me a passing D just so I could graduate high school. But I remember him telling me, Angel, you will never have a career in broadcasting. And what's funny is he told me that at the age of 17, and I had tucked that away somewhere in my memory, didn't even remember it or recall it, didn't think twice about it until it was probably 20 years later. I was 37 and I was being interviewed for a magazine because we had this award-winning radio show, and I was being interviewed for a magazine, and the interviewer asked me, Angel, have you always wanted to be in broadcasting? And that quote of him, like that memory just came flooding back. I didn't even know it was in there. And I'm like, apparently not, right? I was even told I would never have a career in broadcasting by my high school, by one of my high school teachers. So it's just interesting how people have this impact on your life, make these statements, and you don't even realize how, how strongly our memories hold on to these things. But I was the host of a business talk show. I was the host of a second Christian lifestyle show where we were talking to moms in minivans in the carpool lane in the afternoon. And so had a fun, fabulous career in broadcasting. And what I did every single week was interview guests, just like you as brand new podcasters. You're vetting guests, you're qualifying guests, you're matchmaking who is going to be a great guest for you. You're pre-qualifying them, you're prepping your shows. And that's what we did, except for we did it with a daily show, 4 hours of talk radio every day. So we had a lot of our time to fill, which means we did a lot of pre-qualifying and a lot of production in that time, up until 4 years ago, when I walked into my studio and they said, Angel, we've made a change. And they took my show and took me off the air. And at the time, it was very embarrassing because it's very public when you're on the radio every single day and people tune in and all of a sudden you're gone. But at the same time, it was a great opportunity for me to go off and do something else, right? Spread my wings. Broadcasting was a beautiful season for me and I loved the opportunities, but I decided to take that, one door closes, another opens opportunity to go out and speak to small business conferences all across the country, where I was teaching entrepreneurs and small business owners, authors, speakers, coaches, podcasters, how to leverage the power of media to create more influence, publicity, and buzz, how to attract more clients, how to monetize your exposure. And so that was 2 years pre-COVID, and now we're 2 years into COVID. And we do it all virtually from the comfort of our own homes with our virtual backdrops, wearing yoga pants, right? Only,
Shorts.
Shorts. Only have to be, in fact, when he said, we're going to go live on a group, I'm like, oh, well, let me go put some lipstick on. Right? For you guys, I don't know. I was like, I didn't need lipstick. It's just us chit chatting and doing our thing. And, oh, well, this is going to go out to a bigger group. Definitely need to get a little more dolled up for that. So hopefully that just gives you a little background about who I am. Now what we do is leverage the power of, we still do it, right? But now we do a lot more with press releases and media pitches and media campaigns. And so I'm going to walk you through some things today of how you can get more media and publicity for your podcast, how you can help others, right? Help find great guests for your show, and how you can grow that and attract more perfect clients into your sales funnel. So any comments, thoughts, questions before we dive in, or anything that I can address? If you want, you can put it in the chat and I'll make sure I answer any questions that you have, and I'll try and weave that into it. And of course, as soon as I'm finished, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have tonight. Okay, so let's get started. Since there are no questions in the chat box. Oh, Karen has a question.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Gateway High School in Aurora, Colorado.
Oh, I grew up in Boulder.
You grew up in Boulder? Okay. Yeah. Well, nice. Are you still in Colorado?
And I used to go on the radio with the class there. So
okay.
No, I'm down in Phoenix. Just wondering.
Well, I moved to Orlando last year. I've been in Colorado pretty much most of my life. Actually, I moved there when I was in high school. My dad was in the Navy leading up to that. And during the pandemic, all three of my children, they're adult children, all work at Disney World. And so my husband and I made the move, and we decided to move into Orlando. So now I live in Orlando. I have a swimming pool. So kind of, beautiful weather that you have down there in Scottsdale as well. And we are loving it. We're loving the weather here. It's just, I can't believe how warm it is in the middle of winter. It's fabulous. So, all right. So let's talk about media and PR. I talk about my 3-2-1 media boost. And it's really about connecting with journalists, building relationships with other people's stages, right? Radio show hosts, television hosts, producers, reporters, right? Those that are looking for content. And here's the thing is every single day, there are thousands of media opportunities, TV, radio. They are looking for news stories. They're looking for human interest stories. And you guys are creating those. Every single time you put together a podcast, you're creating news, you're creating a story, you're showcasing somebody else's life, like, piece of a timeline in their life. And all of this you guys are like reporters too, right? You're interviewing, getting to the juicy nuggets of the story. Well, you could end up being this catalyst for another journalist who is looking for filler, right? That's kind of what we are to the media, is filler. They have their headlines, they have their national news, they have their the traffic and the weather and all of their pieces. But if you've ever watched, they have these segments where they're talking about local community events and local community stories and human interest stories. And your good stories get good airtime. If you've got a really good story, an interviewer, something that your podcast has done, a milestone, an achievement, even the launch of how you're creating it, what your mission is, there's really three types of stories we pitch to the media. One is a milestone, right? So that a launch, a number 200, I can't believe we've got a number 200. Lorenzo he was telling me right before that he's getting ready to host his 200th episode, and he's looking.
I mentioned this, the book finally, #1 bestseller.
Number one bestseller.
Day.
See, that's a milestone, right? Published a book. I should be doing number one bestseller. This is press release. This is headline worthy. But he's looking for somebody with a goosebump story, somebody who's conquered fear, and despite all odds, they're still out there winning. Right?
Actually, Angel, we have someone exactly like that right now with us here.
Yeah.
My good friend Randy. He has a phenomenal story. I had him 3 times on my podcast. Incredible story. It would that's why I invited them personally tonight, because his story is definitely one worth telling and sharing. And I may bring him back for part 4.
Well, so, there you go, Randy. What a cool introduction, right? Yeah, 3 times being interviewed on the same network. I always tell my clients, you can go back over and over again. Sometimes we'll put out a press release and like, the same stations are picking me up. Yes, right. You want to be invited back. You want them to share your stories over and over again. You want that repeat recognition. I mean, if the TV station called you back over and over again, like, that's the goal, honestly, is to get repeat exposure. And so being invited back on somebody's podcast 3 times is a really big deal. So congratulations to you, Randy.
And Randy, when I graduate to when my channel blows up and becomes a TV station or big with millions of followers, you'll be one of my favorite guests to bring in on a regular basis, especially during playoff season, because Randy has a background in basketball, and we joke all the time that, hey, we did 3 games so far, we're gonna go all the way to a game 7. So
awesome. Yeah, we used to have, when I was broadcasting, we would have people come in every single month, right? If they could give us a new topic, a new direction, or something, a little fresh flavor to their story, we would have them back. I mean, it makes our job easier, right? I don't have to, go out and find somebody new and test them out and see if they're good for the show. You're a sure thing. And so when we're building relationships with journalists and reporters and podcast hosts, we want to be a really valuable resource. We want to be a really valuable resource to them, and so that they will have us back on a regular basis. And it makes their job so much easier. So as we're creating, right, if you think about building relationships with journalists and reaching out to podcast hosts and all of that, the goal really is to keep your story and keep your news in the press every single month. And so our 3-2-1 formula, it's 1 press release a month. 1 press release a month. And if you're building relationships with journalists and you're sending them your story every single month with a brand new headline, a brand new milestone. So there's 3 types of stories they're looking for. Number 1 is milestones, right? I hit this milestone, I hit this achievement, this accolade. The second is really a transformational breakthrough, right? I went from, what did, you said that Randy has, right? Conquered fear despite all the odds, right? So, came from nothing, had a transformation, and now I'm on the other side of it. And I'm helping others because of it. And so if you have a personal breakthrough story or transformation story, or even a client or a guest that you interview on your podcast, you can share that in a press release and pitch that and send that to your list of journalists every single month. So transformational breakthroughs, and it doesn't have to be yours. It can be a guest of yours that you're sharing that story for. So for example, we just did a story for Dr. Wendy Labatt. She has a TV show. Her guest on her TV show, because of being a guest, ended up getting a multi-million-dollar contract because of it, multi-million-dollar contract. And they told them, the company, that they awarded it to them because when they're looking at their competition, right, that it was that media interview stood out to them so much that they decided to award that company. And that was just from being a guest on somebody else's stage. So of course we put that into a press release. She's got that testimonial now on her website, right? And you leverage that all the time. So your milestones, your transformational breakthroughs, the guest transformational breakthroughs, or even a strategy. If you think about somebody that you've worked with, somebody that's been a guest on your show, something your podcast is doing, and you want to talk about your specific interviewing style is now a strategy, right? Success is a system, right? Is systems, not a secret. And so when we think about the things that you're doing, is it the equipment you're using, the style you're using, the outlets that you're sharing your podcast on, anything, like all of this is in your to-do list. So look at your to-do list, look at your calendar, look at the things that you've done recently. And every month, if you were to take just the day of the month that your birthday falls on, my birthday falls on the 18th, I call this PR Day. And PR Day is such a big deal because as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we tend to just like check things off the list and keep going. We don't take the time to celebrate our achievements, our successes. I love, Lorenzo, that you're celebrating being a best-selling author and keep that going, right? Once a best-selling author, always a best-selling author. And now every single week, if you're out there promoting that book, it will continue to create sales, which you get to monetize, right? I love the fact that being a published author is like printing your own money. And
well, speaking of that, we have the honor of another #1 international bestseller with us, my good friend, Irina. She was also part of the book I just showed you.
Congratulations, right? So put that accolade out everywhere. Update all of your social media, put it on your business card, on your website. But if you have something like this, alert the press, create a press release every single month with a brand new headline. Look at the date, look at your birthday, and on the day of your birthday, and look at what you've done in the last 2 weeks, what's coming up in the next 2 weeks, and take the time to celebrate that, because you'll forget. We just launched a brand new item called our Media Mastery Tracker, our media tracker, so that we can keep track of all of our media opportunities in one place. And even I forget all the different media opportunities. I teach 2 interviews a week, 1 press release a month, 2 interviews a week, and or 2 stages. And until you keep it all in one place, or even in your Google Calendar, color code it so that you can look at a glance and see, am I being a guest on other people's stages? Yes, you want to be a guest on or you want guests to be on your stage, but really to build up your audience and to build up your exposure, leveraging other people's podcasts. So doing podcast swaps and switching out stages and trading stages. 2 interviews a week puts you on over 100 audiences or in front of 100 new audiences. So yes, you get to be stages for other people. But when I was first building out my radio show, and when we first started in radio, we started as a podcast. And 6 months into our podcast, our local radio station discovered us, and we started hosting a daily talk show. And it started because I was a podcaster. And how we went, and we were an unknown. I had not been in broadcasting. We didn't have a platform on radio. Nobody had ever heard of us. So how did we build up our audience? We went and spoke at, it was a local show. So we spoke at business groups all up and down the I-70 corridor, right? And so from Fort Collins to Boulder, down to Colorado Springs, right, Castle Rock, and everywhere in between, we would speak at small business groups and teach. We would talk about customer service and relationship marketing and invite people to come and listen to our show. And within just a few years, we became the top morning talk show, best talk show team, best talk show host. And we did that by speaking out in groups and speaking on other people's stages in order to get that recognition and drive them back. So as a podcaster, we have a great Facebook group if you are looking to speak on other podcasts, or a great place that you're looking for to attract quality guests. And that's on our Facebook group, Need a Guest. And so if you need a guest, right, you can go to needaguest.com. It'll take you right to that Facebook group, and it's a free group. You can post, but be very specific about what you're looking for a guest and how they can apply to be a guest on your show. And if there's any requirements, you have to disclose those in the post. If they need a certain size email list, if there's a fee, like if there's any requirements, we just ask that you disclose that during the post and not just use it just for spamming people. And then if you want to be a guest, you can put your profile and your accolades and your expertise and what you speak on in a post so that other podcasters can find you. So it's our media matchmaker site that we created so that you can do your 2 guests or 2 stages a week, 1 press release a month. So 1 press release a month, every single month. Look at your stuff, right? Look at what you're doing. Launch your podcast in a really big way. Don't just start it. Launch it, right? Just like you would do a bestseller book, or if you were opening up a brand new business or starting a new course, you would do a publicity campaign for that. And if you have already started your podcast and you didn't do a publicity campaign for the launch of it, right? That could be the soft launch. This is now the grand opening launch. It could be for a milestone. Now that we have 10 episodes under our belt, we're doing our big launch, right? Our big campaign. Now that we have 5 episodes, 20 episodes, whatever the number is, if it's an anniversary, right? We're 6 months in, we're going to launch this big. We're 1 year in, we're 3 months in. It's never too late. It's never too late to launch. Even if you've already started with, you can call that your soft launch, right? Restaurants do it all the time. They do a soft launch for friends and family, and then they open it up to the public. So create the publicity and create the buzz, create the story by building out a press release every single month. Who do you send that to? You'll send that to actual news stations, to actual reporters who are looking. Remember, they're looking for you. They're looking for your stories. And so we want to give them filler. This is the good news, right? Surrounded by all the weather and the ick and the national news that's going on. If you've got a good story, good stories get good airtime.
How do you find these people? Just a Google search, or are there specific directories for that?
Yes. So every single news station is on a major media network. So if you want ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, you want those major media news logos, every local media station is hosted on a major network. It's on one of the major brands. So having your press release featured on a local news station gives you that masthead, gives you that logo, right? It's their logo with your headline. So even if they don't bring you into the studio to cover the story or send a a news crew out to cover the story, even if they just host your press release on their website, you have that masthead as seen on, right? Same thing as if you're in Entrepreneur Magazine or an online source, right? It's their masthead carrying your story. So you can say as featured on, you can use and repurpose those media links with a press release. And every single news station has on their website a place for you to submit your press release to them for free, because they're looking for stories, they're looking for news. So the more often you put this out to the local news stations, the more familiar they become with you, your story, your brand. You create all this Google food, right? SEOs, these breadcrumbs back to you where people can binge, and like all of your story is all in one place. So a press release, it's 350 to 500 words. It's little. It's one piece of news. It's not your whole life story. This is why we're putting one out every single month. And honestly, we're talking 12 stories throughout the year. This is not rocket science. You can come up with 12 strategies, breakthroughs, milestones throughout the year to come up with 12 headlines. And if you have any trouble with creating headlines, want some ideas for putting out press releases, I have 52 press release ideas for free that you can get at our media starter kit. So we give you all the ideas. We give you the template. We give you the press release headlines. We give you 52 press release ideas. Like, I don't want you to have to worry about that and think about it. So we have a starter kit, a media starter kit that we're going to give to you for free, just for, being a part of this and having access to that. But yay, she says, yay. So every news station has right on their website where you can submit your press release for free. They want your stories. You can also do a Google search for your topic. So when you think about what your topic is, what are the keywords for your expertise that you cover, that your podcast covers? If you think about, and so put that in the chat, like what are the keywords that somebody might be looking for your press release under? Single parents. Okay. Oh, awesome. Oh, this is going to be good. Okay. So if I go to my Google, actually, do you want me to share my screen? Can I share my screen for this?
Sure.
Maybe I will. Let's see. Let's see if that'll work. Yes. Okay. So I share my screen. And so, we can type into the Google search of single parenting. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Single parents. Look at that. So when you type in any topic, Google is really good. They're going to go out and do their job, right? And find everything that they can, every sitcom, every blog, every product, everything, every website. But we only want to connect with reporters and news, right? So there's this little sub bar right under here. It says all 1.24 billion results, right? News, images, videos, books, and more. Do you see that? There's one that says news. If I click on news, it breaks it down to only the news outlets that are covering your topic. So Good Housekeeping, The Federalist, Insider, The Today Show, The New Yorker, Macomb Daily, Daily Mail, The New York Times, Yahoo Finance, CNBC. Would those be great media opportunities for you to be featured on and to share your story, either as a quote, a link back to your podcast, a link back to an episode, maybe bring you in for a story, maybe interview you, feature you. We had, how many was that? 88 over 88 million, 88.6 million results. That is an instant media database of media outlets that are covering your topic. So rather than spray and pray, right? Like we want everybody in the world. No, you want to connect with journalists that are covering your specific topic. And I promise you, if they've covered it once, they'll cover it again, right?
That alone right there is golden. That alone is worth the price of attendance. That alone, if you implement that, seriously, guys, listen to this. I'm so glad I'm recording this. I'm going to be doing, my head is spinning right now. And I'm really fighting not to interrupt you every 2 words because my head is bursting with ideas. So I will, yeah, this is beautiful. Guys, pay attention to what she's saying. When I said that she's going to be fire, I meant it. I wasn't joking. So
We do a
go
lot,
ahead.
right?
Oh,
So I
yes.
put in my little media tracker, right? There's a place for you to keep track of all your journalists and podcast hosts. Every week, if you were to do a search and just add 3 journalists, right? So as you click through each one of these news outlets, it'll tell you who the journalist was, who the reporter was, and in most cases, you can click right on it, and it'll give you their contact information so you can follow up with them. I want you to 3 a week, right? 3 a week, add 3 new journalists to your database. You don't need thousands. You just
Can you do a press release, for example, if you're planning on launching, say, a show, for example, and looking for guests that would be a potential, great fit to come and share the story and talk on that show. Would that be a good fit for a
well, the
press release?
reason why it would be the reason why we could turn it into a great press release and a great story is because it's your 200th episode. So the fact that is you're getting ready to launch your 200th episode. So you have over, almost 200 episodes under your belt. We're getting ready to launch the 200th episode, and we're doing a call for best guest for, our 200th episode. And so you need a press release is a current event. It's not an evergreen, and it's not marketing copy. It's not sales hype. It is a factual document, a factual news release. So it's not, hey, we're hosting an event. That's not a press release, right? We're trying to sell tickets. That's not a press release. I'm trying to sell books. That's not a press release. The fact that I've launched a book, I'm a brand new author. It hit bestseller status. It is an international, brand new international bestseller. We've just sold our 1,000th copy. Somebody's life was transformed because they read it. It's the story, and it's the current event story that we are looking for. And for most entrepreneurs, they really struggle with this because so much of what we're always doing is selling, right? It's all marketing and it's all sales and it's all that call to action of buy now, buy now. You do need a call to action, but in most cases, the call to action isn't a buying call to action, but it can be a list building call to action. So if you have a lead magnet or a freebie or a squeeze page, whatever the language is that you're using to get people into your sales castle is what I call it, right? You can use your call to action to build your list, right? And to attract leads into your sales castle. But you can't use a press release to say, here, go sign up and buy something. You can give stuff away for free. The only thing that the media will allow you to sell if you haven't paid for advertising. And so you can have as much exposure and much as publicity as your advertising budget will allow, right? You can buy ads on social media, you can buy ads in traditional media, on anything that you want. The only thing that traditional media will allow you to sell when you haven't paid for advertising is your book. As an author, they will promote your book, they will sell your book, they will tell people to go buy your book, but we don't ever want to, and even for your podcasts, even for your books, you always want to send people to your castle. So
I got your book this morning, by the way.
Oh, yay. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Rather than say, go watch me on YouTube, go watch me on, this other site. Ideally, you want to drive them to your website, to your link that then can redirect them. But you always want to get people into your sales castle first. When I see, if I say, hey, go to Amazon and buy my book, I'm sending them to Amazon's castle, right? We always want to send them to your own. So I always tell people, go to makeyourbigimpact.com. That's my go-to. Angel, where do we buy your book? Go to makeyourbigimpact.com. Angel, how do we get in touch with you? Makeyourbigimpact.com. Where do we get your freebie? Makeyourbigimpact.com. Like, you want to be a broken record and you want to get them into your sales castle. So at the bottom of every press release is a paragraph called a boilerplate. And the boilerplate is like a little brief bio that introduces your company to a journalist who's never heard of you before. And it can include the link to your website, right? You can put your call to action in that for your press release. So, so 3 journalists a week. Once you have your topic and you've got it all kind of dialed in, you might want to play with this a little bit, making sure that it brings up the right media outlets. You probably have your wish list of, where you want to be featured in. Make sure you include that in your database, in your list of journalists and media outlets. But there's probably a bunch you've never even heard of, right? There are thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of media opportunities out there on media outlets. Probably like some of the lesser known, there's a great places to start. Hey, those journalists are hungry, right? They don't have people coming to them all the time to get into some of these smaller, lesser known media outlets. Those are great places for you to reach out to and connect with the journalists and say, hey, here's a story idea. Here's my press release. Like, look what I just did. Look at what this guest did. Like, listen to these great stories. Look what the impact we're making in the community. And be their feeder, and feed them something brand new every single month. Here's a story idea. Here's my new press release. Now, do not add your journalists to your regular CRM, your regular little click funnels, right? We're not putting them, we're not nurturing them in a drip campaign or click funnels or anything like that. The only thing they are getting from you is a story idea or a press release. It's a pitch. That's it. And once a month, right? We're going to send them a pitch. We're going to follow up, right? We can do follow-ups with that pitch, but they're not in your regular CRM system. So it's part of why I like having it kind of in a list written down, because I don't automatically accidentally add them into my CRM. Right? So we don't want to do that. And then we do put together our automation, right? We can send them emails. They like personal emails, right? They don't, they like all of us, we much prefer personal email versus, I know you sent this out to every single person on your list. Here's my personal invitation to you. And we're like, you personally invited 5,087 people. Thanks, right? So the more personal, the more, so if you're looking here and you see that they did a story very specifically, something about their story and you can relate directly back to it. They're humans. And so treat them like humans. They're overworked. They're under extreme deadlines. They're under extreme pressure. So, just give them some grace. I sent you an email 4 hours ago. I haven't heard back. You're not gonna, right? It's okay, right? Just keep in the loop, and keeping them in the loop, it pays off. It pays off over time consistently. So every single month, you're going to pick your birthday. You're going to look at 2 weeks back, 2 weeks ahead. This is the fabulous stuff I'm doing. We're going to put a press release together and we're going to send it out to our list of journalists every single month. We're going to submit it to our local news stations. My company, we offer a PR service, so we can take that off of your plate, but you can totally do this all on your own, zero cost. I'm giving you like bootstrapping it together, right? Like, how do I get started? And then when you get really big and you've got your 200th episode and you're monetizing it, right? And you want to outsource it, then reach out to me. But in the beginning, this is how you build it up. And this is how you do it on your own. 2 interviews a week, 1 press release a month. In the Need a Guest group, right? You can post exactly what your requests are, and we can help fill your funnel with some quality guests coming into your podcasts. Was that good? Like, was that
Angel?
enough?
That was not good. That was
Angel,
phenomenal.
Can I ask, I want to ask a quick question. What you keep referring to a book there that you're looking at, and you probably explained that before I came in the room.
I didn't. This is my book called Get Discovered.
Oh, okay.
It is my book. It's using media interviews and PR to grow your business, book, and brand. And
Okay.
if you go to my website, makeyourbigimpact.com, and you grab the complimentary media starter kit, there's a link for how to get a copy of Get Discovered. And then we also, inside that complimentary media starter kit, is a link to our media tracker. This is
Oh, that's okay.
$19. What it's like $19.34. So this is a brand new product we just created, but it's a place that you can keep your daily habits, your 2 interviews a week, and your 1 press release a month, and your list of journalists and podcasts all in one place. And so this is fabulous. There's a link there that you can go to get that. I personally, this one is my personal one, like we just created it. And so
Congratulations for that.
I
Wow.
look at my 2 interviews this week. I have I have Payman's Podcast Mastermind is on there from one of my speaking events this week. So you count for me as one of my stages this week. So thank
All
you.
right.
Right on mine.
So I want to just leave some space to answer some questions. I could talk and talk and talk. This is my jam. Like, I've been doing it now for 14 years.
You
and
consider
absolutely
doing like
love it.
a summit in person, like an all day summit? Because I would be the first person to sign up for that.
Yeah, we do a 3-day,
Oh, okay.
3-day
Even better.
master camp or boot camp. Used to be in 1 day, but it wasn't enough. It was
Sure.
too much information to try and absorb in 1 day. So now we break it out into 3 days. The next one is in August, and it'll probably be in Denver, Colorado. It might be in Dallas. We're still on the cusp of trying to figure out which location. The last one we did here in Orlando was fabulous. We did that in February. Tickets to our boot camp are $1,000, and we do like the whole shebang, everything soup to nuts, putting together all of your media assets
1,000 for 3 days.
for 3 days.
That's a steal.
Yeah, it's a bargain. And you come out with a media database, you come out with all these great media assets. We have a fabulous workbook. My desk's a little messy right now. Oh, it's right here. Yeah, so we do your boilerplate, we do your press releases. We put together your topic and your media outlets, how to get paid sponsorships using media. It's pretty cool. How to monetize it. We create the $1 million, how to do your bestseller campaign, your $1 million revenue formula. Yeah, it's fabulous. So media mastery, right? Makeyourbigimpact.com. So, but
Guys,
I'm here
this is
to
gold.
serve you guys tonight. Like, you guys are, putting your podcasts together. And I think I just made my camera blurry. So hold on a second. Let me stop the video for just a second. Right. You guys are starting your podcast. You're looking for publicity, putting a press release together for starting your podcast, the different guests that you're hosting, milestones that you're hitting as your podcast gets added onto more platforms. These are all headlines that you guys can use to leverage and create some buzz for your show.
Absolutely. Wow. My head is exploding. So guys, come on, bring your questions. This is your chance.
I have a question.
Yes.
So that book, sorry, that Lorenzo mentioned that we just wrote. So in I already have a podcast, and I did a little like advertisement, but in that I'm kind of redirecting them to Amazon where the book is being sold. So would you say it's a no? I should redirect them to my website? I didn't build a page yet for them.
Well, so a squeeze page, right? So you don't need a full website to start, but a squeeze page, a landing page that shows, look here, best-selling book, right? The picture of it. You want to capture their email address. You want to build your list. You don't need a lot of information from them on this squeeze page. Ideally, all you need is an email address to build that, to get that started. You could even do text message options, right? Where, hey, text the word angel to 26786, and I'm going to send you the link to go buy my book. So everything that you're doing, you really want to leverage that so you can market to them later, that you can build that relationship with them and nurture them, love on them. Like, you bought my book. How'd you like it? Here, give me a review. Here's another freebie for you. Here's a great tip. Because a lot of times they're not necessarily buyers, right? Today, but they could be very soon. It's also a great way for you every time a new episode drops. You can market to your list to say, hey, brand new episode just dropped. Make sure you listen, because there's this really juicy nugget in there, this really great tip. And so, yeah, if you don't need a full website to start, just a way to grab their contact information. So text opt-in is good. A squeeze page or a landing page is good. Even Eventbrite. Eventbrite is a great way for you to build your list by inviting them to a book signing event, a virtual party, a book reading, the launch of your book. It's a free site to use to set up an event, and they'll give you the leads, right? They'll give you the email list of everybody who signs up to come to your virtual event. So I started without a full website. In fact, I still kind of, right? There's just there's so many great tools out there, but make sure that the tools are helping you. So instead of saying, go follow me on Facebook, no, you can't reach out to them. What happens when Facebook shuts down? They're gone. You go into Amazon, they're their clients. You don't even know who they are. So yeah, get them in your castle.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
And no harm, no foul, right? Like, right now, a lot of times you can tell your friends, if you already have their contact information, then yes, absolutely send them to Amazon. They don't have to go through the loops. But if you don't have their contact information, send them where you can get it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great question too. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people, because you want to make it easy, right? I want to make it really easy for them to buy my book. So I'm just going to send them straight there. It's still easy. It's still easy for them. In fact, it's almost easier because you're going to give them the exact link from after you get in their information.
Right. Yeah. Get their email and then tell them where to go.
Yes.
As in any business, your list is your biggest asset.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Whether it's online or offline. So yes, great question. Karen, any question?
Oh, you're
You
muted,
mute, Karen.
What would you say this sort of an area where people are missing out in terms of authors and podcasters, Angel? The things you've covered so far?
Absolutely. Most people think that it's only for large companies. And, I'm not big enough. I'm not, when should I start? Now, build your list now, get your name in the news now. You don't have to wait for anything. Think about the movie industry. When they put out a movie, do they wait until the movie is a box office hit in the theater? No, they start promoting it like long before.
That's a good point.
So that is a
Speaking of
great
that-
question. Most small business owners, they think they're not big enough. Their story's not good enough. Here's the thing. If the news doesn't think it's good enough, they won't air it. No harm, no foul, right? But they let them decide.
Another key point that you mentioned is that it doesn't have to cost a lot. So tell us about the cost involved with running your press releases. Last time you shared that with us, I was blown away. People were blown away at how inexpensive it can be, because I was under the impression that the press release would be like what, $2,000 a pop, but no, it's nothing near that.
Yeah, so there are a lot of services out there for press release distribution, and they range anywhere from $300 to $2,000 to put out a press release. The average is about $800 to distribute a press release. And so again, that starts to feel a little cost prohibitive for small business owners. So when we put together our press release package, I don't want this to be a financial decision. Should I put this out? Is this a good idea? And so we created a press release membership. And by committing to do 12 a year, one every month, we cut down the cost significantly. And so for $300 a month, we will write your press release and distribute your press release to all the media outlets. So we write it and distribute it for $300 a month. That includes your photos, which oftentimes are extra. That includes hyperlinks that oftentimes are extra. And so we've just bundled that in, but we did it because you're committing to the full year. Our single press release, like if you just want to come to us as a one-off, is $750. That's to write it, that's to distribute it, the whole thing. But if you say, Angel, I'm going to do it every single month and I commit to the year, then you get our membership rate of just $300 each. We also have a 3 package, like a 3 press release package, if you just want to sample it and try it. And it's 2 for 1. So it's $1,500 for 3 press releases. But again, we do all the legwork for you. And so you don't have to, you don't have to think about it. Like, it's my birthday, Angel. This is what's going on. Like, this is what we're doing. And I get to celebrate that with you and tell you to pour something bubbly, a bubble bath, something bubbly in your drink. We celebrate that. And then as soon as that press release drops, we'll send you the results of the stations that pick it up. And again, if that's, if it's your local news station, those are on some major media headlines. And so you can often get this week. I mean, how many of you would like to have some major media coverage this week? We could create that with a press release, instant, like just add water. You can find that if you want more information, just to dig a little deeper. The website for that is evenmorepress.com. Evenmorepress.com.
Is that one of your websites?
Right. It's all the same site. It all goes to the same place, but we had to put up a fun, something more fun for the press site. So makeyourbigImpact.com, grab your free starter kit. That's the press release ideas, the press release headlines, the link to get the book, Get Discovered, the link to get your media tracker. There's just lots of resources in there. There's a 10-day media challenge with guaranteed media opportunities that in 10 days you can get instant media coverage, and it's all free. Like, we just keep piling it in. Like, what can we do to help you? Because my heart's to help small business owners. And you need customers, but without exposure, you're going to be chasing down, and it's going to be really difficult to scale your business. So this is how you can scale it, monetize it. I want you to grow. I want you to be so successful. And then you come back and hire me to do your PR for you because you're so busy, and it's, you've got all this fabulous stuff, because success attracts success. The more often we put out a press release, the next one you're like, oh my gosh, I put it out now. Angel, guess what just happened? I know, right? It's like miracles just keep happening. And so it's just good stuff. So grab the free site, the free kit, sign up on needaguest.com so that you can start promoting your podcast to get guests and also to go and be a guest. And then when you're ready to launch and do something really fun, evenmorepress.com gets you into our press release subscription service. And then we do have a 3-day boot camp that we do 3 times a year. And the next one is August of 2022, possibly Denver, possibly Dallas. We'll have to let you know.
Mention a 10-day challenge. Tell me more about that.
The 10-day challenge. So every single day for 10 days, I baby step you through, one of the things is how to set up the Google alert to build your media database, some different media outlets. But yeah, every single day for 10 days to take you through so that at the end of it, you're in the news.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Very intriguing. I'm definitely going to be spending a lot of time on your website. And yeah, I got your book this morning. Already started reading it. And yeah, I think this is going to be really good. Everything happens for a reason at the right time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Karen, sorry, I forgot to ask you. Do you have any questions, Karen, for Angel?
I'm all blissed out. I've been sitting here trying to fix my camera. I literally bought a camera and I can't get it to go on. So I do have it. I will fix that. But I don't know as far as questions. I just am like, okay, I got to be in all this stuff. This is like, you know, a very affordable, it's wonderful. I want to hire you. I want to do everything, you know, so I don't really have any questions. I'm just like, okay, how do I get there? You know, I mean, got to get in there and figure this all out and get to work. So this is very exciting. I'm glad you had her on. I mean, it gives you some, it really lays out kind of a map, you know, where you can like, okay, you plug into this thing and then off you go, you know. Wonderful.
Absolutely, especially Irina, the book. That's a big thing. Get on it. I'm going to get on it myself. Do a press release. Randy, your story should be front page center anywhere on any piece of media outlet, because your story is, honestly, I've been honored to have almost 200 people, and your story is probably one of the top 3 most powerful, most goosebump inducing stories I've had so far in my podcast.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
They want your stories, right? That's the thing you need to know. What you think is ordinary is magic to other people. And those stories, they take on a life of their own. And stages attract stages, media attracts media. If your local, like if we share that story and they decide to send out a news crew and do a feature on it, they can send that up the chain. So they can send it to their regional affiliates and say, interview this person, right? They've got a great story. Then they can send it up to the major headlines. And it's easier when you are, this isn't a pitch at that point. It's we're just sending the story further up to our sister stations because it's so good and it needs to be shared. And how you get started, your foot in the door, is with a press release.
You need to get on that, Randy, because you have all the makings to get there. For you as well.
Definitely will.
Yeah, for you as well, Irina. Your story is powerful. Karen, your story is powerful. Everybody here has a powerful story, so we're gonna get into this.
Well, then say yes to more press.
Oh yes, I love that catchy phrase. Yes, yes, absolutely. Wow, Angel, listen, absolute honor once again. Blew my mind again. Super glad that I'm recording this, and this is being live streamed on my wall on yours, so as many people can see that. Wow, I don't know what to say. My head is spinning right now.
You know what? I hope it's a good thing. I want you to know, like, baby step, one step at a time. Just build up your database, create a story every single month, and just one thing at a time. You don't have to dogpile it on. The beautiful thing about the press releases is it's 12 milestones. It's 12 headlines over the course of an entire year. And that puts you in front of thousands of journalists, thousands. And just one media interview could change the trajectory of your business, of your life, of somebody else's life. But we're just waiting for you. We're just waiting for you to bring us some content. And they have stages. And they have people that somebody right now somewhere is Googling what you know. They're Googling something about your story. We want them to be able to find you.
You shared something that's really powerful, very practical, and that is on your birthday, or even for example, every 18, my birthday is also the 18th. So every 18th of the month, send something, You also shared something last time that really I still have in my mind. You said, what was it? 7 sales of a book a day. That's $50,000 a year.
Yeah, we did. We talked a lot about monetizing your book last time. 7 sales a day.
Watch that one, guys, if you want to catch on that.
Yeah. So each time we actually talk about something just a little different. Every time I come on. So, if you've got a book, it's like printing money. And if you're not published, publish your book. 7 sales a day is $50,000 in passive income, which means these are not people getting on your calendar, discovery calls. There's no service to them. They go, they buy your book, you get a check. 100 sales a day is $1 million. Right?
Bing. Yes.
Right. So if all you have is a book, right? A microphone and a book and a cause. Right?
I'm preaching. This and this together, you're unstoppable.
You are unstoppable. You are absolutely unstoppable. Think about, so often as business owners, it's our budget, right? That keeps us from doing things that we want to do. But if you think about how many books do I need to sell to hire that coach, to upgrade my technology, to pay off that debt, to hire staff, to upgrade, how many books do I need to sell? And that's where that 7 books, ask, invite, beg, tell. A book is the easiest thing. It's the easiest thing for people to buy, easiest thing for people to sell, right? Easiest thing for you. It's $20, $25. Yeah. How many books do you need to sell? So, think about your budget this year and some different things that you would love to invest in or create some extra revenue. A lot of times we think I've got to go add more clients. I've got to raise my prices. Just publish your book and then speak and do press releases.
And what if you were able to, through your podcast, release 1 book every 4 months, 1 new book?
Yeah, right. You create the whole formula for them on that, right?
Absolutely.
And so let me see, 300 divided by, let's say your book was $20. You'd have to sell 15 books a month in order to offset your press release subscription service. So 15
Whoa.
books.
I like
You've
that.
gotta-
Very
you've gotta
practical
press
indeed. Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Listen, Angel, we can talk for hours. This is fabulous. If you guys, do you guys have any last parting questions or Randy, Irina,
No,
Karen?
just wanted to say thank you so much for giving this great information, Angel.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Randy. I can't wait to hear your story.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, you can watch the podcast I did with them. They're about 1.5 hours each, so grab your favorite drink, but they're worth it. Let me tell you,
I'm
because you
looking
literally
forward
went
to
to hell and came back.
it. Karen.
My topic is about sex and intimacy.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, I have so much information to share about sacred sex. Is there anything you can tell me about pursuing this in lieu of my subject?
Well, I mean, if I just put in intimacy and in news, 78.5 million results. BuzzFeed, that was the very first one a day ago, 15 real life sex and intimacy questions you're too embarrassed or too shy to ask about. Bridgerton, intimacy coordinator, talks about the show's signature sex scenes on the Today Show. I am Mind, Body, Green, Psychology Today, Bollywood, Shaddis. Yeah, so the topic has publicity built in to it. If you wanted to talk about something else, I would search something else, but 78.5 million opportunities are waiting for you, my dear.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at you, Karen, while Angel was talking, and I saw your jaw hitting the floor like
Yeah.
I was too. So yes, it is. So rewatch this again and please implement it because this is pure gold.
Well, I'm super excited to help. I'm super excited to serve you. I can't wait. You guys are making such a big difference and such a big impact. Very brave and exciting, right? To go and step into podcasting. And sometimes because we can just do it from our home and the technology is now so easily available, we forget how valuable it really is. But don't underestimate what you guys are doing every single day. Sharing stories, giving people a platform to share their stories. It's important. The work that you're doing is important. And I hope you go to sleep tonight just remembering that. And so take some time every month to celebrate your success. And yes, alert the press with your news. Thank you again for having me. I'm super honored. Reach out to me. We give you lots of free resources, right? So now the ball is in your court, but you're
Yes.
unstoppable if you want to be.
Okay, we shall do. Thank you so much. Absolute blast, honor having you with us, Angel. Listen, all of you guys, please, I beg you, implement what you're saying because this can be a game changer, a life changer, and I mean it. Don't just watch it passively. Do it. Just do it because this is pure gold. So listen, guys, Angel, I salute you as always. Pleasure. Randy, Karen, Irina, salute you all. You're all fantastic leaders with a heart. Beautiful
Thanks,
friends.
Payman.
Was all mine. See you guys